Hey everyone, this is Sven from House of Secrets. I wanted to show you a small trick we use when working with stereo in Lightwave. This small trick will allow you to preview your Anaglyph Stereo right from within the OpenGL view of Lightwave, something which wasn't possible before. We're doing this by taking advantage of the depth of field motion blur preview that was introduced in Lightwave 9. We're doing this in an Anaglyph Stereo way, so we're gonna use a red and blue glass to preview our 3D in our OpenGL. We're doing this by simply creating a new light. I'm gonna show you that right away. I'm gonna add a light, a distant light in this case. I'm gonna call it Anaglyph. And I'm gonna turn off the sun over here because it's affecting the end result. I'm going to rotate it a bit so I can see what I'm doing. Oh. Good enough. What I'm going to do is animate the light from red to blue, and I'm going to show you that. Let me animate it. This is, by the way, this is the basic idea behind the workaround or the stereo workflow. This is not perfect. I'm going to show you some things that will happen when you use the keyframe method. And of course, what you have to remember is you can only do a toe-in Anaglyph Stereo or a parallel stereo with no convergence plane. So basically an infinite convergence plane. Because we can't animate the camera frustum from within Lightwave. That has to be done by NewTek themselves by using the GL frustum calls that are available in OpenGL. Okay, so I'm going to create a keyframe on frame 1, and I'm going to keyframe on 2. I'm going to turn these to stepped. Set them to repeat. As you can see, they repeat. Now all I have to do is grab these two for the sign color. And there we go. So basically, frame 0 will be red, frame 1 will be blue, frame 2 will be red, etc., etc., etc. I'm gonna take my camera. I'm gonna duplicate this one because I don't want to screw up my original camera. So when I screw something up on this camera, I can just toss it away and start over. So I'm gonna animate the let me see if it works in the first place. I'll need to turn on the motion blur, of course, and I need to turn on the depth of field motion blur over here, which is only possible, of course, when I actually look through my camera. Oh yeah, I parented it. So I need to reset some settings. I need to reset my rotation and my position. There we go. So it's matching this camera. Yeah, that's nicely. Motion blur is on. I'm gonna take a peek through it. Turn this on. And right now nothing is happening. As you can see, the light is animating between the colors. Alternating between the colors, but my motion blur length isn't long enough. What it's doing right now is actually showing 1/4 of a frame. So what I need to do is actually have it show 2 frames at once, which is simply a length of 200%. So if I shoot, look at it now. Well, we can see that it's actually working because my tanks turned gray. That's because red and cyan form white light. So basically I'm back with the same light. Of course, I'm going to turn on the intensity a bit, maybe a bit more. And to actually see the effect now, of course, I need to make my camera stereo as well. So this one has a setting of 16 centimeters. So that means I have to animate this camera to the left, minus 8 centimeters, and to the right 8 centimeters. So I'm going to do that right now. Minus 0.08 and frame 1, 0.08, frame 2, same value. So I'm just gonna set a key over here, and I only need this one. Put any keys on that. Okay, so I'm gonna do the exact same thing over here. I'm gonna put it on stepped, and I make it repeat itself until infinity. So when I look through it now, you can see we have a Anaglyph Stereo view. So what I'm going to do now is make sure the camera looks at something. So I'm going to use the well, the worst stereo 3D you can create, which is the toe-in method. I'm simply going to target it. So I'm going to bring up my motion panel, target it to the null, and as you can see, my null is still well, basically at position 0. So I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to take a peek. And it's focused on the tank, as you can see right now. So if I would look through my glasses, I should see some sort of 3D effect. Oh, well, that is working. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is make sure the stereo effect is a bit easier to see. This does mean I have to change all the shaders on all the objects. So if you use hotkeys that save all objects at once, as I do, you have to keep that in mind, because you could screw up all your objects with this. So if you're satisfied or think this works fine as it is, then don't use it. And if you do, keep that in mind, that saving all objects will screw up all your objects, basically. So I'm gonna go into my surface editor. I'm going to open up the preset. I have a default smooth setting over here, which is comes default with Lightwave. I'm going to simply assign that to every object, and as you can see, the overall stereo effect is a bit better to judge now. So there you have it. Now this method isn't perfect because I am using the motion blur previewing. Any object that animates won't work properly. I'm going to show you that right away. I'm simply going to move this tank. I'm going to put it on the convergence plane here, so you can actually see what is going wrong. Let me see. Okay, so the tank is in focus. I'm just going to move it over here. And move it a bit over here. So if it were to view right now, and I switch to frame 1, you can see we get ghosting. That's basically because we are using a motion blur trick. So in order to prevent this, we need to have a shorter shutter, so the motion is less apparent. So I'm gonna go all the way back to say 10%, and that means I have to tweak my animation and my Anaglyph camera as well. So I'm gonna open this, I'm gonna grab these, and I'm going to scale them. Now I went from 200 to 10%, so I have to scale it by 0.05. There we go. And I'm gonna do the same with my light. Numeric scale, okay, and we're back. And as you can see, the tank has less ghosting right now. There's still ghosting. In order to prevent the ghosting that's still there, I need to make these values really, really, really small.